Last but not least, we want to share with you new stuff, what is coming next, and again, from our reputation, when we say something, we deliver it, and a lot of things that you will see here, and it's a way to thank you to stay until the last minute of the conference. There is a lot of great stuff that will coming in the next following months. And you will be the first one to know it. And this will be a share between Clement's presentation. Clement, again, is the guy who imagined the product as a product marketing director. And he will share with you all the different things we want to put in place this year. And I will deliver a closing conference with some new product announcements, and of course those product announcements were a junction between his brain and mine, and sometimes it's difficult, and but again, as I say before, not so difficult compared to the work done by Stephanie and Anna to deliver what we imagine. Sometimes it's really hard. So is now PowerPoint fixed, or?
I hope so.
Or do we have to build a PowerPoint engine too?
Someone stole the roadmap. No. Someone stole it.
There is some guy from Adobe in the room? No.
I will give you some roadmap insights. What I will show you will present you our priorities, the main things we will work on. But it's not a detailed roadmap with saying that at that time you will have that feature exactly. I don't want to take some engagements we wouldn't be able to deliver. But at least you will see the focus and the main domains we will be working on during the coming year. And part of this, not everything is sure, but part of this will be present in the next 12 months throughout modules for most of them, so without touching the core, without upgrading Jahia, etc., etc. And perhaps in 1 year will we have a new version of Jahia 7.1 if we have to make some changes or improvements in the core platform itself. So about the product life cycle, very rapidly, we use an agile methodology. We are not driven by date, and we have defined that we want to have one release per year for the main product. So 7.1, 7.2, etc. One release per year, never more, never less. As we are driven by date, there can be more or less things inside this release. On the other way, you will have hotfixes on a regular basis, like Anna explained, re-explained to you this morning, I think. I was not at the presentation, but you are customized to that now since several months. It works very well. You have hotfixes with all the bug fixes every month. On the modules, it's very different because now that the core is stable and we have done all the agility we want, we can release modules without being obliged to wait for the full Jahia release. So it's easier to test, it's safer to deploy for you, etc., etc. We have a much higher velocity now. Those modules will be available in the public app store for most of them, and perhaps for some of them under a specific subscription if they are very complex or need some specific support. It's a commercial matter, and I won't say I don't have a clue on it, but it's not my main concern. Just one slide about the architecture. We focus on stability. That means that we don't plan any major change in the core platform. We don't have right now any plan to replace any part of the system. We will only perhaps refactor some internal code for a sub-part of the core, because we can do something better, more with more speed or things like that. But it's minor changes that won't change the platform at all. And we won't replace any frameworks. We don't have plans for that. So all the administrators in the audience must be relieved a little bit. Second point, we are finalizing. It won't be available in the 7.0. We cannot take the engagement to support that. It's already working, but we have a lot of tests to do, and we won't have the time to test all the combinations possible before the release of 7.0, but it can happen during the year at one time of the hotfixes. To be able to, it's something that has been requested a lot by some of the biggest customers with a lot of installation, mainly on Web3 or GBoss. They want to have ER files, and we don't write anything inside that, and they want to be able, even in some cases, to deploy the exactly same ER file on all the cluster nodes. So it's ongoing, and it will happen in this year. Finally, one of the biggest projects we have is to be able to plug a frontal search engine to be able to scale only on the search engine part, on the frontal for the, if you have a website, a project that requires a lot of search. So you can scale only the search engine without being obliged to multiply the full instance of Jahia plus Jackrabbit plus Lucene. So we are investigating right now if we just take Solar or if we go on Elasticsearch. If some of you have some feedback, some preferences, you can send us mails and call us and have discussions with us. There are 2 people really involved in that have started the investigation, and all feedbacks or requests will be taken into account. So the idea is to being able to offer better scalability and better performances, and this will be only available in the enterprise version. Then it will be very short. I have 4 rules that I repeat to the R&D guys, and 4 rules means 4 big directions where we will work on. The first rule: never wake up an admin without very good reasons. So it really follows what we've done in the 7.0 with all the improvements of hot deployment, all the chain, etc., to deploy modules. But there are many more things we can do, and this will be our first priority. We have started a lot of things on that. Then some of them have been postponed because we were not able to deliver them safely for the 7.0, so we just waited. We didn't want to take any risks. But in this platform management direction, we want to provide simple GUI to be able to do sync between environments, prod, pre-prod, dev, test, etc., etc. Simple GUI that authorize to sync only the data if you want, only the config, only the code, etc. In one sense or another. So being able, for instance, to move all the config and the code from pre-prod to prod, and sometimes you want to have real data in your pre-prod, so being able to take back the actual data that is on the prod and roll it back on the pre-prod, for instance. So that's one of the it's huge to put in place, but that's one of our goals, and we would like to be able to deliver that in the coming year. A second thing is a configuration tool, something that we work hard since a long time. It's an external tool to Jahia that allows to create and prepare instances of Jahia and deploy them on one or multiple servers, locally or even perhaps in the cloud. And to manage the deployment on different nodes, automate the updates and the patches, etc., etc. So for customers who have, and you are right, a lot of Jahia servers, even several different clusters for different projects, etc., etc. This tool should really help the admins to monitor what happens everywhere. On the platform management also, we want to ease everything related to backup and restore, because sometimes it's painful. Right now, we don't provide all the tools to ease the life of the admin, so we will work hard on that. Provide some monitoring or alerts by default. This is a lower priority, as any competent integrator is able to provide with some other softwares, some monitoring. But if we could provide something internal to Jahia, it would be nice, but it's a lower priority, this one. So backend services, health control, admin panels. And finally, one range, I think apart IBM, everybody is bad on this one. At least if you read at the analysts, what says the analyst, everybody is very bad on auditing, audit trails and so on in the CMS industry. Unfortunately, Jahia is same as all the other competitors, but we are conscious of that, and there are a lot of things that we can do to improve the audit trails, to know exactly what happened on your platform, at what time, etc., and provide predefined reports, or even custom reports, build your own custom reports if we embed a reporting engine. That was for the platform management. The second target, second rule, never ever frustrate a developer. Otherwise, okay, so we will continue on the same trend as the Jahia 7 to add connectors and integration layers, because when they can't do something with the product, they just yell at us. So we don't like that. So as already announced, we will provide a CMIS connector. It's more for the customers and the developers, I think. It will be available at the same time as the Digital Factory, so the new name of Jahia CMS, XCM, will be released as a module, external module. We will improve the gateway module that is currently used in Jahia Workspace Factory, also known as WISE previously. And I would like to be able to add a GUI to create the mappings when you want to ingest data and insert that into Jahia. Right now you have to write files for mappings, etc. Okay, it works pretty well, but to define your routes, the transformations and the mapping between fields, and even the timing of the synchronization, for instance, once a month, once a day, or the type of synchronization, is it incremental or else, all that we should be able, with a lot of work, to do nice tools to ease all those things. It's still in discussion in the R&D. We have a lot of pressure from some of our customers or partners. Now we have the external data provider. I know some of you have seen the demonstration this morning by Thomas that has been very applauded. So perhaps this year it's not our priority unless we have some sponsors that can help us or finance us to release connectors based on the external data provider to Alfresco or SharePoint, because that are the main systems for storing documents that we encounter a little bit everywhere. So that's it. And we'll continue to do some studio improvements and, if possible, more automated code generation. So the less they are coding, the better the developers behave, and the less there are bugs. So we'll continue with that trend. And if you've seen the demo of the studio yesterday, David listed some of the improvements we already plan, we already know that would be useful inside the studio. Third target, third persona, the marketers. So the rule 3, let the marketers spy, hit and catch their praise. And that's a completely new domain for Jahia. So we're going to work hard, and we have started to work on web marketing. We have some customers that already plug some web marketing tools to improve their website, collect data about the customers or contacts, and do some personalization. Perhaps you have seen on our website since a long time some videos about the personalization components that have been done as a prototype. So this year is really a year where we will start seriously to handle this. We don't intend to say that we will do something as complete as dedicated online marketing tools or stuff like that, but at least we want to be able to provide the basics that are enough for 99% of the customers we know and we have. So being able to collect data, to do lead scoring, it's really essential for marketing departments, to apply so implicit and explicit data, to be able to create segments, so a segmentation engine, and then to use personalization components related to segments to deliver personalized content. So I hope in 1 year you won't have to code a lot of things yourself, but you will be able to rely on that. As you know, personalization is complex. It depends always on the business logic, business rules defined by the customer. So there is no engine on earth that can handle all the complexity that the marketers can invent or just need to match their goals. So the integrators will certainly have to code upon that foundation, but this foundation will be provided with some UIs to create segments, search your contacts, etc., manage campaigns, and all that. And we will work on that project with one of our partners, which has a lot of experience on that, to share with us. And we are discussing with 1 or 2 customers, current customers of Jahia, old customers of Jahia that needs those kind of things and that would like to be part of the process. So if this rings a bell to you, if you want to be part of the process, keep in touch with your manager, the account manager at Jahia, and it will be a pleasure to have other people, other companies sharing their thoughts, sharing their needs, at least to define the priorities of what we should add in this new tools, new layer. And on the side, we will deliver, or we want to deliver, connectors for CRM and online web marketing tools, currently and very famous, like Salesforce or MailChimp, Sugar CRM. Those are just connectors. It's external modules. It won't be part of the core of the product. So it's pluggable. You can use it or not as you want. If there are sponsors in the room, I mean companies that want to speed up the delivery of one of those connectors because they need it and they prefer to know that it's supported by Jahia and not do their custom implementation, or if they are only experts of one of those CRM or online marketing tools, the partners, for instance, and you know very well this or this system because you've worked with it a lot, get in touch with us and we'll find out how to work closely together. Because we don't intend to reinvent the wheel or to do something that is crappy. When we don't know something, we try to find the experts, simply. And finally, last but not least, rule number 4, knowledge workers are the ones who suffer every day. We just have to ease their burden. Version 7, otherwise, are really, really scary. So the latest thing we will try to do, and we will do because version 7 was very oriented on administrators and developers, but much less on the people who use Jahia every day behind the screen in the edit mode to create content, etc., animate the websites. So we need to do some things for them. One of the things that is really missing in Jahia, and that's why one module has been rewarded yesterday, the global social replace, because we never had the time to do that correctly, and all the bulk editing features are really missing. As soon as you have a lot of content, it's really useful to be able to act on multiple nodes and multiple properties at the same time, replace things, prefix, move, etc., etc. So bulk editing tools have a very high priority, and also being able to export Jahia content it's already XML, but it's not the XLIF format. The XLIF format is the one used by all the major translation companies in the world. So they have armies of guys in every country that are able to, with correct proper tools, to translate your content and return the content in this XLIF format. So I would like to be able to export Jahia content in XLIF and being able to re-import the same content in other languages that has been translated outside of your company in the same format. This is a high priority. We're going to improve a lot the out-of-context editing. You know that editing content inside pages in Jahia is very, very easy. That's why for most of the time, you've chosen Jahia, or at least one of the good reasons. But editing content, when you're not in a page, when you're just, you don't know where the content will appear later, you just want to put that in folders and let the system put the content where it must appear based on rules or whatever your own logic. So those interfaces exist, but they are really crappy. Let's be clear about it. At least I consider they are nearly crappy. Now, thanks to the new user dashboard that is constructed like the administration panels, you can add easily some more panels, etc. You've seen that today. We can build a nicer out-of-context interface. So I think a lot of knowledge workers, content editors will be really, really pleased by that. And it's not too much work now. It's far, far easier to do than it used to be. And finally, you have a lot of small improvements, but that can change the life of the content editor, being able to create draft or multiple drafts of the same content, for instance, something that is often requested. We can make some improvements on the publication workflow and all the following of the workflow, at what stage, at what step is of the publication is a certain content, etc., etc. The workflow works well, but it's not the better implementation, and it's not the better UI that we can do. We can do much more to help the authors and the webmasters to control what's happening here. And finally, on the versions also, we can do things. We have tried to completely hide all the versioning stuff. But in fact, some customers are very happy with that. Some other customers need versions sometimes. It would help them. So versions exist. You can recall them in an engine, but you cannot control, for instance, in details the versions you want to save or not to save, because sometimes if you just change a dash, you don't want a full page to be versioned. That's no meaning, even for regulation reasons. Sorry. So on the versions management, I think we can improve a lot. But sometimes, and that's my final word, sometimes even moving a simple button in the interface can save minutes of even hours per day to some customers, to some editors. So if you have things that really bother you every day because you are working on Jahia and this button or this box that you have to click every time is just killing you and gives you headaches, and just by moving it elsewhere in the interface, you think that it would ease your work, contact your account manager, yell at him, not at us, yell at him and tell him to put the pressure on the R&D to move this button, drop-down list, whatsoever. So the final thing that will be released normally at the same time as a digital factory is a better support. In fact, it's an improvement of the web dev layer to be able to support direct editing from Microsoft Office documents into the Jahia repository, so into the GCR, to be able to open directly a document, save, create a new document, and so on. And that's it. Thanks a lot.